I've just got to explain. The Quantum Menace is the comic book that I wrote. I started writing a comic book, and her name's Olivia Day, and she's a time jumper, and she reads the codes hidden inside artists' artwork, musicians' music. She'll read someone's writing, she'll see someone's artwork, she'll hear someone's music in there, and she reads codes and what it is they create, and she's able to time jump and go to them at the moment that they're creating their work of art. And she goes and she time jumps and she saves them, she helps them fight their demons, and then she trains them to enhance their gifts so that they are able to heal their minds or heal their lives. And then they go on to create more works of art that leave more codes in it so that she can time jump, back and forth. And she's trying to save the creative empaths in history because she's being followed by the shadow people who try to time jump after her to stop her from saving the lives of the creative empaths and that, because the shadow folk are trying to control art and music and literature. And in the modern day, she's noticed that people like Mozart and John Lennon and all that, like what they're creating is starting to vanish from history. Like people, it's like they're vanishing. And so she's trying to time jump to save these people, to make them strong so that they don't turn to addiction or kill themselves or whatever, so that the shadows don't get them, to ensure that they, don't create these masterpieces, because the shadow folk want to control the messages contained within what it is that people hear and read and look at, like a form of mind control. So she's trying to use the codes hidden inside these creative works and that through history to save the people creating them, to ensure that they stay in history, so that people aren't controlled by what they listen to, what they read, and what they see in the modern world. But in my comic book, she has a twin brother, and his name is Gideon Knight, and he was raised by his Wick mother, so he's all like a natural empath, and he's very gentle, and he knows how to heal with the planet, and he's Wick. But she was raised by her military father, and she was trained to be a military weapon, a military grade secret weapon. And it's her job to train soldiers, like super soldiers. But what they don't know is that she's taken what she was created to be by the military and turned it into something that they don't even know what she's become. And she's used their resources to enhance her own gift to become like a superpower. And then she uses her gift to protect and defend the creative empaths, to ensure that they keep continuing to create these works of art, because people like Mozart and Van Gogh and Da Vinci and that are starting to vanish from the history books like they never existed, because the shadow folk are joining in her slipstream where where they can, and eradicating them from history to ensure that the modern world don't know that they even existed. So she's fighting against the clock to save history's creative empaths and that, because suddenly people are going into her art gallery or her music store and never hearing of people like Mozart and John Lennon and Jimi Hendrix and that. They're vanishing, and so she's trying to save them along with her friends. So when I get to America, and I've already contacted like the mayor of New York, and I've been so busy, but I want to contact like the Department of Justice and that to find out how I can go about. I want to start my Comic Cons initiative, which is part of my Beyond Life Foundation. I want to start a charity where I start a creative arts initiative for male inmates in prison, and I want to do it just like start hopefully with just one prison and any of the inmates who are writers and artists, I want to sign them up to be a part of the initiative where they will help me write the Quantum Menace and do the artwork for the Quantum Menace, and then my company, Queen Bee Industries, will publish it, and then my friends and I are going to take it to Comic-Con, and, you know, get it published and, you know, do the publicity and that, and then any of the inmates who complete the program will get invited to North Star Studios, where they'll be given accommodation and jobs as like writers, comic book writers, set writers, musicians, artists, whatever it is they want to be. So it's a dream of mine. I'm hell bent on doing it. It means a lot to me because I got to meet a lot of men in prison who are really talented and creative, who are just rotting. They're just being left to rot, and it just infuriates me. See that DLPFC in my brain, that justice side of my brain kicks in, and I can't stand the fact that there's so many talented men in there that are just being left to rot, you know, because just because someone's in prison doesn't make them a bad person. Good people can make bad decisions, you know. Good people can take wrong paths, you know. I don't judge people from their past actions. I judge them by their character, you know, and how they are with me. And I've been around a lot of people who have done time in prison that society just treat like scum, and it infuriates me because they're good men. They're good men. They've done their time and they have no interest in going back. And it made me want to do this Comic-Con's initiative. So the Quantum Menace is all to do with that, and she's a time jumper, and I want to get these boys. That's why I was in the comic book shop the other day, because I have these dreams of the Quantum Menace being a comic book in a comic book store and going to Comic-Con and dressing up as the Quantum Menace, whose colours are black and purple. And she's a cross between Lego Batman and Deadpool. Like, she's a bit of an arsehole, but it's because she's just hell-bent on, you know, protecting her creative empaths and, you know, doing what's right. There's a whole backstory and things like that. Her kryptonite is the fact that if she doesn't help people, she becomes mortal. But if she helps people, she becomes immortal. So the more she helps people, the longer she lives. The less she helps people, the faster she dies. So she's like in a catch-22 situation. That's why she's hesitant to fall in love and things like that. But she time jumps, and she helps people fight their demons, fight their dragons. She helps them chase the dragons away, you know. And then she trains them up, and every one of them has a different power that they can use. So that's my Quantum Menace comic book, and it's a dream of mine. And when I start my Comic-Con's initiative, I want to get these inmates, you know, I want to spark their creative juices and save them from their beautiful minds rotting in prison. It's, you know, I'll supply them with their art materials and anything that they need, and then any stories and artwork that's chosen every month for the comic book, they'll get they'll win commissary, they'll get paid for it. That will put money in their JPay or send them like a food parcel. They can choose between having money in their JPay or get phone credit, or we'll send them like the equivalent in food. They can, you know, pick what food they want and stuff like that. So that's my Comic-Con's initiative, and that's the Quantum Menace for those that don't know. So just thought I'd explain. Mwah!